All right, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, welcome, 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 everyone. We are live and we're doing our normal Sundays. Trying to get back into being better with our Sunday lecture, our Sunday talk, our Sunday time. Now, we're starting off this Sunday, and we're not going to be very long, but we're going to be strong and we're going to get right to the point and wrap it up. One thing that I just do not like, it bothers me to the nth degree, that this so-called New Year's, and everybody gets around and start, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And guess what? It is not the new year. You're still in the same old year. And it aggravates me. Truly, it really does. It aggravates me to the point because I know it's not real. I know it's a lie. So I don't send out Happy New Year messages because I know it's not the new year. But if I receive them, I will reply. But I'm tired, right? And we have to understand that in this time, we are not supposed to follow the way of the world, right? We're supposed to be what and who God says that we are. And so, in order to do that, we have to do what? We have to cast truth at falsehood until we knock out its brains. And so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be casting truth at falsehood until we knock out its brains. Now, when you look and you understand the resurrection of the time, first of all, before I get into that, let me start with the beginning, right? Because I want our Christian family, and I want you to send this message out to our Christian family, because there's more of them than it is of us. But we have to wake them up into the reality of God and the reality of Satan and the reality that what they think they're doing is not pleasing to God. So let's get into this. I'm starting the lecture today coming from the Christian Bible because I want to make this so plain that they will understand and you will understand succinctly what is going on. So in Hosea starts out, and I have the little thing showing right there so that you can see it. And we've all heard part of it. We all heard the part that says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, right? We've heard that. The Christian will repeat that. The minister will repeat that. But they don't say the whole verse. So the whole verse says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I reject you from being a priest to me. And since you have forgotten the law of your God, I also will forget your children. He says, I will forget your children. So the price of ignorance falls down to your children. They say ignorance is bliss. How in the hell can ignorance be bliss? Because you choosing not to know. This is a problem. This is a major problem. And so while you sitting up there in these churches being lied to, send your pastor, send your deacon this message. And let them hear the truth and see how they will respond. Will they hearken unto the truth, or will they stay with the lies? So as we move further in so-called 2026, the world around us is shifting rapidly. We see the signs of perishing everywhere, in our streets, in our health, and in the way people are treated by systems that do not value us. We must ask ourselves, what is the specific knowledge we have rejected that has left us in this condition? And more importantly, how do we reclaim it to secure our future for our children? Now, we got to understand that there's a difference between blind faith and actual knowledge. The difference between blind faith and actual knowledge. You can believe all day long that there's a plane out there on your doorstep. That don't actually mean there's a plane on your doorstep. You can believe all day long that you're going to keep going by and playing the numbers and you're going to hit and be a millionaire. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to happen that way. We have to understand that we have been thoroughly lied to. We have been thoroughly removed from the rhythm of time, from the rhythm of nature itself, and from the rhythm of our God. And when you get removed from the rhythm, that means you're out of sync. You know how you see people trying to dance to the music and they just can't get the beat right, and they're out of sync, and especially in the lion dance, and you doing the dance all night, and they getting the thing wrong and turning at the wrong time, mess up the whole damn line because they are out of sync. And we as a people, we are out of sync with the time and the knowledge of our God because we are left behind believing foolishness and going along with lies. With lies. And today we are going to crush those lies. I want to welcome our sister Emerald Jules. Peace and blessing, Queen. We're glad you're here. We're also going to welcome our big brother, Willie Rivers. Peace and blessings, Brother Willie. I'm glad you're here. This conversation or this lecture that we're having tonight, the resurrection of time, is so important. It's so important. You must share this message with your family members so they will understand exactly what it is that they're celebrating in the quote unquote so-called new year. Right? So they say that January is the beginning of the new year. January is the beginning of the new year. And how is that? How is January the beginning of the new year? Who came up with this? Who came up with this? Let me show you. Let me show you. This man right here, Pope Gregory XIII. Pope Gregory XIII came up with this calendar that we're currently using. And it's called the Gregorian calendar after Pope Gregory XIII. Now, this Pope, like the rest of them, they weren't godly men, right? They weren't good men. They were evil men. So the Pope knew that, look here, we want to continue to rule. We want to continue to rule, but what we got to do is knock the people, the natural people, off the rhythm that they vibrate to because they are connected to the real God. So in order to knock them off, in order to trick them, in order to continue to subjugate them, they got to change the time, change the rhythm, change the nature in which these people operate. So it was the Pope that came up with the saying, kill them all and let God sort them out. Kill them all and let God sort them out. And at this time, they were fighting the Crusades. And they were saying, you want us to kill the Christians too? And the Pope says, yes. Kill them all. And the God will sort them out. Now, this Pope, Gregory, he changed some things. And he made January the first month when it's really not the first month. Because you see this guy here? This is Janus, Janus. He is the God that January is representing. When you are going to church and you having your pray in because the 1st of January coming in, you ain't praying to Jesus. You praying to this two-faced Roman God, Janus. He's the two-faced Roman God, and they call him the God of the beginnings. Janus is one of the most unique Roman deities. He is so Roman, in fact, that he has no Greek equivalent. No Greek equivalent. He embodies the beginnings, the endings, the transitions, the threshold, and time itself. The Romans say that everything that starts, everything that shifts, everything that opens or closes, that's Janus domain, the two-faced God. This is what you are celebrating. This is what, when you go to your church and y'all sit up there all night, this is what you're celebrating. And you don't even understand it. You don't even know it. And this is why the scriptures say, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And because you reject knowledge, I will reject you. This God, this two-faced God, one face looking back in the past and another face looking forward into the future. This dual gaze symbolizes memory, foresight, ending, and beginnings. The time space between what was and what will be. It is the perfect metaphor for transition, personal, political, historical, and spiritual. What are the things that Janus ruled? Again, he ruled the beginnings, the days, the months, the years. He was the doorway and the gate, literally and symbolic, and transitions, life changes, and journeys and decisions, war and peace. The gate of his temple opened in war and closed in peace. Travel, trade, and movement. He was invoked first in Roman rituals, even before Jupiter, because every ritual had a beginning, and thus the beginning belonged to Janus. Janus. Now, Janus existed before any of these other gods, before any of these other white pagan gods. He was before. They say he once ruled Latium as a wise king. He welcomed Saturn when Saturn fled Greece. He was the god of the Tiber River. His name is linked in Latin, meaning the door, which gives us the English word janitor, originally meaning doorkeeper. Janitor originally meant doorkeeper. Now, Janus' cultural power opened during war and closes during peace. The Roman historians note that those doors were almost never closed. Almost never closed. Rome consistently expanded with conflict, with war here and war there. This is why Rome was eating up the majority of the planet, just like America got its bases all over the planet, just like America can go into Venezuela and arrest its president and the first lady. And then Trump show you the perp walk. And now Trump says, we're going to run Venezuela. And if the vice president of Venezuela, if she don't do what I say what I say to do, then we'll come and arrest her too. Why? Because he's saying, who gonna stop me? Who gonna stop me? Their oil is our oil. We're gonna take it and bring it to America. Who gonna stop me? So Janus is a potent symbol, and it still matters to this day, dealing with new beginnings and the duality and contradictions, right? There's a lot of contradictions, not just in America, but a lot of contradictions in this world. That's why we call it what? The white man's world. Built on contradictions. They still have threshold moments, political and social turning points, the tensions between the past and the future. You got to understand that this thing ain't no joke. You living in it. You living in it and not understanding what's going on. So we go from Caesar to Gregory. The Julian calendar, 46 BCE, introduced by Julius Caesar, is based on the solar year, 365.25 days, with a leap year every 4 years. The problem is the actual solar year is 365.2422 days. So the Julian calendar drifted about a day. So every 128 years, misaligning seasons and religious festivals. Then come Gregorian, Gregory. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII issued the papal bull correcting the drift by dropping 10 days. Dropping 10 days from October 4, 1582 to October 15, 1582, adjusting the leap year rules. So there are two rules in deciding a leap year. First, the years must be divisible by 100. They are not leap years unless they are divisible by 400. So the year 1900 was not a leap year. But the year 2000, it was a leap year. See, this is the trick. This is the trick. And you go along with the trick, how in the hell days just gonna disappear? Oh, this is a leap year, so we're gonna drop these days off. What? And we go along with that. A leap year is a mechanism of control, right? Leap years are meant to realign the calendar with the solar year, but they also reinforce centralized authority over timekeeping. Tie the calendar to Christian religious observance, especially which month? Which time? Easter. Easter, which ain't never on the same day every year. It's always changing. They wanted to create a system where only the church, I'm going to say that again, where only the church and then later the state could declare what day it is. Now, this is profound power, where you know, wait a minute, it's cold as hell. The earth is dead. Nature is dead. But you out there in the cold, yelling and screaming, Happy New Year, and the earth saying, idiot, it ain't springtime. It ain't a new year. It's the same old year. So, look, understand this. September in Latin is 7. It's 7. But what Pope Gregory did, he moved September from being the 7th month and made it the 9th month, right? He took October. Octo means 8. They made that the 10th month. They took November, Nov means 9, made that the 11th month. Made December, which means the 10th month, made that the 12th month. So then they added 2 months to each month. So in this shift, they made things different. Because originally, the Roman calendar started in March. It started in March, making the names accurate. Later reforms, including the Caesar and the Gregorian calendar, moved the start of the year to January, but didn't rename the months. The result, a calendar linguistically contradicts itself, revealing its imperial and religious layering. So understand, they moved March from the first month of the year, replaced that with January. They left the linguistical contradictions itself. You study Latin, you knew September, septem means 7. You know this. But now it has become the 9th month. So the contradiction that you're living, imperial, religious. And this is something that you got to understand. You need to understand why things are the way that they are. This is not natural. The calendar construct is not natural. It is a theological and political artifact. And why do I say it's a theological? Because it came from the Pope. The man that when y'all see, y'all bow down to kiss his ring. You bow. you bow. You better stop it every year. Even you don't even see this cracker, but you will bow down. How do you know you're bowing? Because you send those damnable messages. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. You bowing. You're lying. But here comes the truth now. So we can set this thing right. So the Gregorian calendar erased older systems like the lunar calendar and local seasonal cycles. It centralized timekeeping under papal authority. Then it standardized global time in a way that served colonial expansion and Christian hegemony. You better understand this. And when I say Christian hegemony, it don't mean you. It don't mean you, your hegemony. It means their hegemony, their reality, because they're going to make you serve them. They gave you a white God for you to fall in love with. And they say, we're going to keep these niggas serving us. And what do? You keep serving and keep serving. See, the leap year, you got to understand this leap year. The leap year is a patch, not a solution. A sign that the system doesn't naturally fit the Earth's rhythm. This is why they say drop these days. Because if they don't drop it, then it'll be more out of whack. And at some point they say, they're going to start questioning, so let's make sure we keep this leap year going. But you should already be questioning when you're looking out the window and you see the natural law of God. And the natural law says, this is the death of winter. There is no new year. You wait till springtime and you see the leaves growing, you see the trees growing, you see the animals starting to mate. This is the new year. This is the new year. The month's names are a fossil of a displaced order, showing how language and power collide. And you have to understand all of this. See, this Gregorian calendar is consumerism as a ritual. The modern New Year is booked by spending frenzies. You going crazy, spending money you ain't even got, but you spending it. December holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. You drive massive retail sales. Back at January, a fresh start. Marketing begins to push what? Gym memberships, diet plans, productivity tools, financial services. See, this isn't just commerce. It's ritualized consumption. It is ritualized consumption. As one scholar put it, consumerism has become a secular religion, with shopping malls and online marketplaces functioning as temples of identity and fulfillment. Listen, I'm going to say that again because I'm talking all up in your stuff. It isn't just commerce, it's ritualized consumption. Consumerism has become a secular religion, with shopping malls and online marketplaces functioning as temples of identity and fulfillment. Debt as a seasonal cycle. Many households enter the new year deep in debt from holiday spending. Credit card companies, financial institutions capitalize on this moment, offering New Year balance transfers, promoting financial resolutions that often involve more products, not less consumption. The system is designed to reset the debt clock, not the spiritual clock, but the debt clock. They want to disconnect you from nature. The Gregorian New Year, January 1st, is not aligned with any natural cycle. It's the midwinter in the northern hemisphere of time of dormancy, not renewal. Traditional calendars, agriculture, lunar, indigenous, often begins in the spring when life returns. But by contrast, January 1 is a political and religious artifact imposed by Gregory XIII, Pope Gregory XIII, to align Easter with a solar year, not the season of planning or reflection. You have been awesomely tricked. Awesomely tricked. And you're living ritualized consumption. And you know it. And you know it. I heard a conversation the other day before Christmas, and these people were talking about what they buying their children and how they can't wait to see what Santa Claus has gotten for them. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was so disgusted because these were Black people talking. You work all year, from morning to night, 2 and 3, 4 jobs. You breaking your ass, you breaking your back to get these presents for your children. And you don't even get the glory. You give the glory to a fat white man that's coming down a damn chimney that you ain't even got. But you live this lie and give it to your children. Look at what Santa Claus gonna do for you. You be good and Santa gonna get you this. You make me sick with that foolishness. Give yourself the glory. Let your children know. Ain't no white man in no red suit gave you a damn thing. I worked day and night. I suffered day and night to give you these things that you can't even afford. Give yourself the glory. Show your children. Yeah, when mommy and daddy going to work all these hours and come home tired, fall asleep watching the TV because we out there working for you to give you what we couldn't get. Won't you start telling the truth to your children? They'll love you more. They should honor you more. But when you feed them lies, Santa Claus is white, Jesus is white, I pray to white. So when I run into white, I'm running into God's people. I'm running into the good people. You make me sick with that foolishness. What are you really running to? You're running into a natural-born killer. That's what you're running to. So they want to discontinue, they want to cut you off from your spiritual alignment, your spiritual rhythm, and your agricultural rhythm. See, the ancient and indigenous cultures used the new year for communal rituals, seasonal gratitude, reckoning with the ancestors and the land. Today's new year is dominated by fireworks, parties, and countdown. Individualized resolutions often tied to self-improvement through consumption. Through consumption. You know, when we sit back and think about it, Black people, you are the most comfortable, oppressed people on the planet. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're happy living your ritualistic lives. You're happy with it. You get sad if you can't participate in the religious and the ritualized consumption, because you see it as keeping up with the standard. You done lost your damn mind. You got to understand the agricultural planning. See, the Gregorian calendar displaced agricultural logic. You say, I don't want to be in no agricultural rhythm because I don't want to plant nothing. I don't want to farm nothing. Then you don't want to eat nothing but this chemicalized food that's made in the laboratory. See, the farmers traditionally plant around the solstice, the equinox, the lunar cycles. New Year now begins in a time of fallow fields, not planting. You can't plant in that. This reflects the broader alienation from land-based knowledge systems replaced by financial quarters and fiscal calendars. You better understand exactly what I'm saying. The systemic implications, the new Gregorian New Year, is not just a date. It's a mechanism of control. You didn't hear me. I said it is not just a date. It is a mechanism of control. It reflects fiscal calendars, not spiritual ones. It drives consumption, not contemplation. It reinforces debt and not renewal. In short, it's a temporal trap, one that keeps people chasing productivity, spending, and self-optimization while disconnecting them from the ancestral rhythms, the ecological cycles, and the communal reflection. It want to make you other than yourself. It want to make you other than yourself. Now, we got to understand. This beautiful man that we have the picture up, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, this great, beautiful man, he came to teach us not just the science of life, but he came to teach us the science of everything. The science of everything. This beautiful man. The idea that March, not January, is the true beginning of the year aligns with both natural law and what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us, especially his emphasis on nature as the ultimate teacher, the cycles of creation and the restoration of the original knowledge. See, you've been tricked so long, you don't even know what the original knowledge was. So the messenger had to come and teach us the science of everything. And this is what you got to know. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's writings, they outline central cosmic order, natural law, and metaphysical instructions are within the supreme wisdom lessons and the messenger's broader teaching. These themes give us a legitimate foundation connecting the spring equinox to the worldview. Let's break it down. Let's get into this, see, because y'all making a mistake of ignoring this beautiful man and trying to put down this beautiful man. But you want to wrap yourself around the lies that your pastor teach you every Sunday when you go to church. Why you've been going to church for years? Why your pastor ain't teach you this? You mean to tell me your pastor didn't know that this ain't the new year? You want to tell me your pastor didn't know that January don't start no new year? That January you sit there bowing and praying to a white god, a Roman god, a pagan? Your church ain't teach you that? No wonder you suffering. No wonder you suffering. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad consistently taught us that nature is the law of God. To understand divine order, one must study the cycles of the earth the heavens, and life itself. The spring equinox around March 20 to 21st, the moment when day and night are equal. Light begins to dominate darkness. The northern hemisphere re-enters a period of growth, fertility, and renewal. This is the natural beginnings of the life cycle, not a date chosen by the papal decree. You gotta understand this. You got to understand. See, because the earth is rotating. The earth is rotating, as you see in the diagram. So as the earth is rotating and bringing you into the growth and fertility and the renewal. Now, this aligns, as the messenger taught us, on returning to the original order, rejecting the artificial systems imposed by outside powers. See, let me make this real clear for you. This New Year system was imposed onto you. It was imposed onto you. So the messenger wants to reconnect you with the mathematics of the creation. The mathematics of the creation. Now you say, well, what you talking about, Muhammad? See, God knows math. He's the original mathematician. And his numbers always math. What our sister say, the math ain't mathing. Well, you looking at that damn calendar and it's telling you September, but you got it as the 9th month, but Sept means 7. The math ain't mathing. When you got December, which means 10, DC means 10, but they got it as the 12th month, the math ain't mathing. And you got to understand this because you've been tricked out of your original order. March is the true beginning of life. Across cultures throughout history, March has been recognized as the start of the year because spring is when life returns. Plants sprout, animals reproduce, temperatures rise, food cycle begins, human labor cycle resets. This is the biological, agricultural, and cosmic beginning of the year. The sun's dominance return. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught the sun is the symbol of life, energy, divine order, and the rise of a new people. The spring equinox marks the sun's victory over winter, mirroring the Nation of Islam's theme of rising out of darkness, awakening, and reconstruction. The supreme wisdom and the cycle of creation. The supreme wisdom lessons emphasize mathematics, cycles, the measurements of time, and the renewals of worlds. We got to understand the order, the cosmological thinking. You have to understand the spring equinox is a mathematical event. The earth tilt Align so that the sunlight is evenly distributed. Look here. This thing aligns with the very nature of yourself. And you got to align yourself with what nature is and what nature got going on. We got to understand it, and we got to live in it, and we cannot afford to allow our people to continue to sleep in their ignorance. We cannot allow this to continue. Now, we have to understand that the earth tilt aligns so that the sun is evenly distributed. It is predictable and measured and universal, which reflects the precision the Honorable Elijah Muhammad emphasized in divine order. This is not arbitrary timekeeping. It is cosmic law. It is natural law. This is God's law. And it's time to get us back in sync with the law of God so that we may begin to rotate when the light of knowledge hits us. We begin to rotate. And then from that rotation, from that light of knowledge that hit us, our behavior change, our thinking change, our motivations change. The way we see the world changes. And we got to understand. See, the Western impositions, the artificial systems, the loss of original knowledge, the need to return to divine order. This is what the messenger was constantly teaching us. The knowledge of ourselves, to accept our own and be ourselves. Think about it. Accept your own and be yourself. What is yourself? Yourself is a righteous Muslim. Oh, I ain't no damn Muslim. You are the original Muslim. Check this out. If you separate black people from white people, what will happen? Black people will produce a society of justice, fair treatment, equality, riches. They will produce it. Why? Because it comes out of them naturally. The problem is we've been imposed upon, and the darkness of the white man's world rules the minds. You better listen to me. It rules the minds of our people. So you see them behaving in a way that's animalistic. Animalistic. Because they have the mark of the beast in their head and on their forehead and on their hands. And this is the reality of being here with our enemy and loving our enemy. We have to come up out of that, and we have to accept our own and be ourselves. Our resurrection. The science of March and the vernal equinox, the resurrection. In March, the sun crosses the equator, life comes out of the ground, the birds return. This is truly a new year. The teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the theology of time. God made motion, and that motion created time. Our motion as a people must begin when the earth itself moves into life. We have to begin with proper motion, not chaos. Not chaos. See, we have to take charge, God damn it. Take charge. Because we have not been taking charge. We have to take charge. We got to walk our post in a perfect manner, keeping always on the alert. Not sometimes, not half the time, but always on the alert. We have to practice economic war. Stop spending your money and using these death months to just go broke because somebody told you it's Christmas, it's Easter, it's New Year's, it's the 4th of July. It's every damn time you turn around, they trying to get you to go in your pockets. Stop it. Say no. Turn your time into study, to store up food, to strategize how you're going from point A to point B. You have to take charge. And you cannot continue to allow this fake man to continue to rule you and to rule your babies. You cannot do it. We got to start making proper use of our time. If the black man is not moving, he is not making time. If we are stagnant, we are dead in time. All time is measured by our relationship to light. Just as the earth rotates because of the sun, our minds only move when they are hit by the light of truth. When you start, I want you to just think. We about to end, but I just want you to just think. When this knowledge start hitting your mind, it produced you to start thinking, well, what about this? What about God? Muhammad is dropping something, because your mind begins to rotate, because that light is hitting the mind. You got to understand the season of wickedness versus God. See, those 400 years of enslavement and total loss of control, wickedness. See, in their season, the elements, social, political, and economic, aided the oppressor. It aided the oppressor. No matter how hard we fought, we couldn't overcome them because it was their time. But now that season is up. The morning star has appeared to let us know the night is over. We are now in the season of righteousness, where the elements of the universe are finally working in our favor, but only if we act in a timely fashion. The dead of winter, the deception, January versus March. The natural law, everything has a season. In the dead of winter, January, there is no life. There is no life to start a new year. The earth is dead. The earth is dead. The new year comes in the vernal equinox. That is when the sun crosses the equator and new life started. Black first. Black first. I love you so much because you have decided to take a knowledge and put it to practice. You live it. You love it every day. You rise up with it. You go to sleep with it. It's inescapable. But we have to double and triple our work because this is our time. And we got to capture the hearts and minds of our people. And we capture their hearts and minds by giving them the truth. They have been deceived by this enemy. That's why Allah says in the Quran, by the time surely man is in loss, because you're operating on the enemy's time and you have fallen in love with the enemy himself, and you have forgotten who you are and your relationship to the real God, your relationship to the planet, your relationship, your rhythm of life. You know, even in the Quran, it says that we are to sing it with rhythmic tunes. We are to sing the Quran, to be in God's rhythm. To be in God's rhythm. Wake up from this sleep and get up and do the work that must be done. This is our time. We are in the now. We are in the now. If we don't do it, who gonna do it? You gonna trust? You gonna trust this new, what they call it, the millennial generation to lead you? Are you serious? They have to be taught. They have to be taught the knowledge of self. They walking around not knowing who they are and whose they are. We have to make sure that they understand it. We have to make sure that they get the message. You know, I said a few on my, when we were talking about children ruling their parents. And I said, what we see here with our children going crazy that this is not something that we can arrest our way out of. Them going and arresting Black children that's doing these flash mobs and all this craziness, we're not going to arrest our way out of that problem. We have to father our way out of that problem. And that is the answer, that we have to father our way out of that. We have to take charge as men and understand exactly what it is that is our duty. What is our duty? How do we perform our duty? And what happens to us if we fail to do our duty? We cannot be so disconnected from our people that we're going to fail to do our duty. This is what we're born here for. We're born here because there's a duty imposed upon us from our ancestors and from our God. And we have to perform that duty. And it is a glorious one. Don't think it's a weak one. It is a glorious one. You know, we got to make sacrifices. We got to make sacrifices. Because it's just the thing that has to be done. Sometime I come before you and I'm sleepy, I'm tired. But the work of getting the message out is so important. So important. How many hours do we give to the job every day? And then how many hours do we give to this mission? We got to put in the time in order to get the right results. So sacrifice is lovely. Sacrifice is beautiful. Let us not run from sacrifice. Let us run to it. We have to kill the dependency, claim the sovereignty, and let the world tremble at the rise of the Black man. We are Black first. No retreat, no compromise, no fear, to the death. This is who we are. This is what we do. We must kill the dependency, claim the sovereignty, and let the world tremble at the rise of the Black man. Let them tremble. We are Black first. No retreat, no compromise, no fear, to the death. I thank you all for listening. I thank you all for coming out and giving us your time and your energy. We want to thank, we got Big Brother Roy in the house. Peace and blessings, big bro. It's always glad to see. I'm always happy, Brother Roy, when you drop in. Always, always. I love you all. And so y'all have a peace and blessing night. I love you. Thank you for coming. And always remember, kill the dependency, claim the sovereignty, and let the world tremble at the rise of the Black man. Love y'all. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. So you better get the message and get it straight. You're going to need some bridge work. It's simple as that. Because we're living in Georgia.